Okay, now we're good. Okay, I'll share the screen again. And warm up is going to be an EMOM. So every minute on the minute for 12 minutes, we're going to rotate through these 4 different stations. So I have the clock there. Looks like there's a little bit of a glare, so it might be kind of hard to see. But I'll be giving you guys like a 10-second and then a 3, 2, 1 to keep you queued up. So minute 1, if you have it somewhere to run 100 meters, you could do a 100-meter run. Otherwise, we could either sub that out with just jumping jacks or just jogging in place if you don't have somewhere to run 100 meters. 100 meters, or you could just run like 20 seconds one way and 20 seconds back. That's kind of roughly close if you haven't measured anything out. And then we have 10 alternating Cossack squats on minute 2. So I'll just kind of show you guys those. So we're going wide, really wide stance with toes out. And then I want to make sure that I keep the side I'm leaning to, that foot flat, but I can rock up this toe here, get nice and deep, and then I'm going to switch sides. I'm going to work through just 10 reps there. You can think of it as like a nice stretch for the thighs and the ankles. And then we're going to go 20 air squats. So we've been doing a lot of squats, but just a quick reminder, we want to focus on keeping that torso tall, feet about shoulder width and knees tracking out with our toes, staying tall. We'll work through those 20 reps. And then minute 4 is going to be dumbbell swing. Or you could do a kettlebell swing or even an odd object swing. So I'll just kind of demonstrate. All those same rules apply for all of them. So nice flat back, making sure that we don't turn it into like a squat, but we're focusing on hips back. So more like a hinge from the hip, and then big hip drive, squeezing the quads and glutes at the top. And we're just going to go chest height on the swings. So we haven't done a lot of these with a dumbbell, but if you have a dumbbell, you kind of hold it like this here. And then we want to think of treating it just like a kettlebell. I'm going to drive the hips back and then swing. Just chest height, just like so. So a pretty easy way to do that. Or we could take our odd object here, find somewhere to grab onto it, and I can swing the odd object, just like so. So those are some options there. And I think that's it. If you have any questions or don't have any of those pieces of equipment, let me know. And I'll give you guys a minute to grab whatever you might need. So, we're going to make the place look spick and span before you guys come back. Okay, workout. Let's take a look at it. Pretty straightforward today. Kind of going for a little bit of a longer workout. So let me shrink this a little bit. So what we have here is a 5-round workout. Each round starts with a 400-meter run. With the run, there is some different options here. Let me shrink this down so we can talk about those possible options. So one would be, if you have nowhere to run, 40 swings with whatever you have to swing. Or if you have one of these different pieces of equipment, you're welcome to use one of those. Or I also have a 10-meter shuttle run. So that would be like basically 32 feet in each direction. So you would just do 20 of those for the 400-meter run. Or lastly, if you have no idea where 400 meters is from your house, feel free just to like run 1 minute out and 1 minute back, just to keep it simple. So that's a bunch of different options there. And then from there, we're going to go into 20 alternating dumbbell or kettlebell snatches. Or 20 ground to overhead with the odd object down here. So I'll show you guys both of those movements here. Let me start with the dumbbell. Let's see here. It's gonna be kind of hard to see with this camera, but dumbbell snatch. So we want on these, only one head has to touch the ground, opposed to yesterday with the clean, we wanted both heads to touch. So I'm gonna go down. I want to touch right between the feet, just like so, keeping that chest tall. And again, just really focusing on the quads as I drive up, shrug, pull, keeping that thing close to my body. I don't want it to start swinging out. So I want to be here, shrug, pull, and punch. And then I can switch, touch one head on the ground. And I'm going to work through those 20 reps. Nice and steady there. You could also switch on the floor if you're not too keen on switching in midair. Let me grab a kettlebell real quick to show you what the kettlebell option might look like. Okay, I got a kettlebell here. So with the kettlebell, instead of going from the ground, we're actually gonna go from like a swing. So you can almost think a one-arm swing, but then I don't want it to go way out here. Instead, I wanna kind of pull back on it, kind of tame the arc. So when that bell starts to come up, then I'm gonna punch through and finish. So it might look kind of like this. And with the kettlebell, let's not switch every rep. Let's just do like switch every 5 or something like that. 'Cause it's a little trickier to try to switch. So it might look like this here. Big hip drive, and then punch, and I'll bring it right back down. Keeping that chest tall as I work through those reps. And then with the ground to overhead, so I have this object here. Basically, we want to just touch it right between the feet. All the same rules apply, tall chest, flat back, and then I'm going to drive up, shrug, rotate, punch to a nice lockout. So I'll show you a couple reps there. So here, straight down, big drive up and punch, right back down. So I'll work through those 20 reps with my odd object. And then our second move is, if we have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, it's gonna be an overhead squat, switching however you want to. So I think every 5 sounds like it would make sense. It's a really challenging movement, so definitely test this out before we get going. But we wanna be able to keep this arm completely locked out and still get a full depth squat, like so. If we are unable to do that, maybe mobility is an issue there. We can do a front, like a front rack position, and squat just like so. Same thing with the kettlebell. We can hold that in the front rack. If we have an odd object, we're gonna do what's called a Zerker squat. So basically, you're gonna kind of cradle your object like this, keep your chest tall, and then keep those elbows high so they don't touch the knees. And then I'm gonna drive up and work through my 20 squats. And then we're just gonna go right outside for that next run to start the second round. And that's it. So think about using the run almost like as your pacer, so you can speed it up or slow it down based on how you're feeling. When you get to the object, try to stay pretty consistent, pretty solid on those movements there to try to kind of blast through those before the run happens again. And I think that's kind of it, guys. Let me know if you guys have some questions. I'm gonna set a clock here to give us 5 minutes to get prepared. Definitely practice some of these movements if they're newer to you.
Sorry, for the run, were you saying that it's about 2 minutes?
Yeah, so like, 1 minute out, 1 minute back.
Okay.
Something like that. Unless you know for sure that your 400 is usually like, let's say it's normally 1:50 at the gym here, maybe.
What is it normally? What's the range that you see, just so I have a gauge? Like the fast and then kind of average?
I would say like on the pretty fast side would be like 1:40.
Okay, and then the average is like 2 minutes plus or minus 10?
Maybe like 1:55 or something.
Oh, okay, great.
1:55, I think. But
okay.
We also have that hill here, so it's like a little slower than it probably would be on a flat.
Right.
You just run out of your house?
Yeah, I'm going to run around our building.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm going to do a full square or a full circle. And then I'm going to see how, if I do a minute there, then I'm going to reverse that.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. That'd be cool if your watch could track the distance.
Yeah, exactly. I might actually do it on Map My Run just to see what the building circumference.
Like.
Yeah.
Nice. Those dumbbell overhead squats are intense. Mark's looking ready to go.